Now, we all know about alcoholism and addiction and things like that that are happening in our community. And I became part of that community because I became addicted to alcohol myself. And that was part of business at the time. You know, in business, there's a lot of drinking and things go on over business. And some people can handle it real well and others can't. And I happened to be one of those ones that just didn't handle it that well. So I had to do something about that for myself.
At what age?
I was 43.
When you became an addict. If you want to find yourself, then lose yourself in the service of others. This is a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, and this is followed by our guest today, Ron Neville, with us. Thank you, Ron, for coming to the channel today. And in order to tell the viewers that who you are, this is a person who is helping the community throughout his life. And today we're going to talk about the same, about his life. Why is he helping people? What inspires him? And you're going to take inspiration from this. So, Ron, how do you feel?
I feel great this morning. Thank you.
Yes, it's a nice rainy morning here. So, Ron, we want to talk about your life. We want to inspire people about from your life's journey. So let's start with your childhood. Where were you born and how was your childhood like?
Oh, I was born in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada. That's in eastern Canada. And I was born in 1949. So I'm officially an old man.
Yeah, I can say that. Okay, so then why did you move to Vancouver then?
Well, let me go back to that a little bit. Okay. Growing up when I was a child, my childhood was a little bit, how should we say, disrupted.
I see.
Because when I was about 8 years old, my dad passed away. And it really uprooted our family. Because back in the 50s and early 60s, there was no social programs. So my mother had to immediately, get a job and go to work. And jobs were scarce in those days, especially for women.
Yeah.
And so she ended up cooking in a restaurant. And, so we were what you'd call rather poor. But we were very involved in our church. And because of the church, and something I learned from that community, is you saw all the people that were there, they were always helping others, especially people like in this situation we were in at that time.
Yeah.
And we didn't ask for the help. They just stepped up and helped you. So it was something I learned when I was quite young. And, and I was, and I think it grew in my heart.
Yeah.
And then later in life, I started my career with a company called Pepsi-Cola, and I got into sales, and I never even knew that I would be a salesman, but I was told that I had a very good personality and I was outgoing.
Exactly.
That maybe that's something I should look at doing.
Yeah.
And what I learned from that company, and I had a great mentor, his name was Lenny Boyes, and he was just a wonderful man. And Lenny taught me about sales. It's not what's good for you. What does your customer need? What can you
Empathetic.
What can you go and find what they need to help them in their business? And if you do that, you'll grow your business.
Yeah.
And there was something that I developed, and it was something I learned, and I ended up loved doing it because I saw the response from my customers.
Yeah.
And they grew. And then I moved out to Western Canada in about 1982. I arrived here. Things were not good in Ontario at that time. The interest rates had gone quite high. I had started a business, and the business didn't work out.
So you started your own business?
Yeah, I was into a business, and something I tried to venture on my own, but the interest rates went to 21%. And all the bankers were calling in loans, and I was one of them. And so we were forced into bankruptcy, and that was we were one of the victims of that back at the time.
I see.
And so I come out here west, because they say, go west, young man. And I did. And I started out over here again. And when I moved here, I met this lovely young lady by the name of Ellie. And we started dating, and we ended up getting married. And Ellie and I just celebrated 43 years of marriage. So, that's another whole story in itself.
Like you said, poor to now working with Cisco.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine yourself, were you always passionate about your jobs, your careers? And how did your mother respond to that?
Oh, my mother was pretty happy that she had a self-made man as a son, because we did grow up poor and we didn't have a lot, and nobody. I think the best way to describe it is your payback, for earning money, is helping others. That once again, if you're servicing and helping the people that work for you as well as the customers that you're dealing with, you're just naturally going to grow your business. And when that happens, the fortunes come with it.
So when you talk about helping the community, so are there any highlights that you would like to share with the audience about the ways you help the community, apart from maybe your professional career, or could be a part of
Well, life can take you down different roads, and things happen when you don't expect it. Now, we all know about alcoholism and addiction and things like that are happening in our community. And I became part of that community because I became addicted to alcohol myself. And that was part of business at the time. In business, there's a lot of drinking and things go on over business. And some people can handle it real well and others can't. And I happen to be one of those ones that just didn't handle it that well. So I had to do something about that for myself.
At what age?
I was 43.
When you became an addict?
Well, I've been probably leading up to that, and it was starting to affect my business. It was affecting my family life.
Yeah.
It was affecting my friends around me. It was affecting a lot of people. And of course, when you're in that situation, you're the last one to see it. You're the last one to know it. There's a lot of denial in something like that.
So you denied initially?
Oh, of course. I'm not that bad.
I see.
I'm not that bad.
So when did it hit you? Like, this is it, and I need to stop this?
Well, if you recall, I said my dad died when I was 8 years old. He was only 46, and he died from drinking and smoking cigarettes and all the lifestyle that comes with that. And it'll take your health away from you because all that stuff is poison.
So you had seen that,
and I saw that, and I saw it in my own family because I already lost a sister to it, and then I lost a brother to it. I'd already lost my father, and so I saw that in me, and I thought I better do something about this. So I reached out for help. And we all know, you've heard the organization Alcoholics Anonymous, and I joined that organization and they helped me, and I'm still very involved in that organization today, and it's been 31 years now that I haven't touched a drink or any drug or anything.
Was there any process that they followed, or was it just willpower? Like, I'm just so curious to...
Yeah, no, it's a program that instills into you just to grow yourself. You have to become more spiritual, so it's really based on a spiritual program. So it's not a religious organization or denomination, it's just a spiritual. You just have a higher power, whatever that higher power might be. So it becomes very interesting, and you can see how people get torn down, and we see it in our communities right now. Addiction is so bad, and it doesn't care who you are.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if you're black, white, South Asian, it doesn't matter if you're a judge, a lawyer, a priest, captain of industry. You could be anybody. You could be rich, you could be poor. It knows no boundaries. It'll just take it, especially drugs. And we see that right now in the community.
Yeah.
So because I was able to, and then the power of that community is help others. That's one of the mainstays. Like when you get clean and sober yourself, now you've got to be there to help others coming in the door. And the things I've seen and experienced since I've been in this program, it's just amazing. My own son-in-law was a drug addict. He was a heroin addict living on the streets in Vancouver. And I met him at a meeting, and he asked me if I would help him. And we call it, like, instead of mentors, they call it sponsorship in that program. And because I was able to help him, he is now, you see him on TV all the time. His name's Phalak. He's really helping the community a lot. He's working out there all the time. He speaks, does public speaking. He did a TED Talk.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's, and here it is, like he's been about clean and sober 11 years now. And of course, when he was married to my daughter, now they have 3 beautiful grandchildren that they provided me. And so happy ending, once again, you see people that get in, but the thing that you have to continue to do is just continue helping others and you have to give it away to keep it.
But the first step to this is the awareness that I need help. You reached out to the program, and then your son-in-law reached out to you. So the first step is definitely accepting that you are facing this. And there are so many people out there who are addicts right now, but they don't accept it. Yeah, right? So how do we help them with reaching that stage?
Yeah, it's difficult because there's no we can just sit down in the room and talk about it. You say, well, here's where you are. You have a problem. You have to deal with this.
Yeah.
And they'll say, no, I don't. I'm not that bad. So they have to get to the point where they recognize it first. And when they put their hand up and ask for help, then there has to be somebody there to help them.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. And that, whether that means, providing help in a way of a bed. Sometimes they need a recovery center, someplace where they can go and help them get clean and sober, and then start to learn the process of living that way, and then getting back into society again. Because a lot of those people have lost all their social skills.
Yeah, exactly. So Ron, I can definitely see you here as a very, very kind person, and the audience is gonna agree with me. You were so kind enough to help somebody and eventually get him married.
Yeah.
To your own daughter.
Yeah.
But he's lucky as well. But
might not have been too happy about that at first, but it was okay. It worked out fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is the rarest of the rare stories that we are listening today. But then, yeah, I'll take you ahead. And I would like to also ask you about your association with TEDx, which is a worldwide thing now. So now you're helping people to share those stories, to, it's again a help to let people know that this is how you can deal with life with certain topics. And you have TEDx speakers, you arrange TEDx Surrey every year. So how was that journey?
Well, TEDx Surrey grew out of Toastmasters. So something else I did was when I was, in my life, and you're always looking at, expanding and getting better, because especially if you're into addiction and things, like the last thing you're doing is working on yourself in those ways. So once you get that spiritual part working again, and then you can develop that, then what is my next thing? I wanted to grow in other areas. Now, I have the ability to speak. I can stand up and talk. And when I went to a Toastmasters meeting, it was because a friend of mine was delivering a speech.
I see.
And he asked me if I would come and listen to it. So I did. And then they roped me in. And I joined Toastmasters. And when I got home, my wife said to me, "You joined a talking club?" She says, "You know how to talk." I said, "Well, they teach you to listen." And she said, "Oh, well, then you keep going.
Yeah.
Because you need to learn that one." And that's what I did. And Toastmasters is just another great organization, and it's a leadership development program. So once again, now you get to mentor people again. You got new people coming in, and I became a distinguished Toastmaster. I worked my way up to Toastmasters to the highest you can get.
Yeah, exactly.
The highest thing you can attain, and this is where I met Alan Warburton, is in Toastmasters.
Have you ever done a TED Talk?
I have not.
Why not?
I have not delivered it.
Why not?
Not yet.
I mean, you should, definitely. After this interview, I think after knowing a bit more about you and your life journey, I think I would highly recommend you doing that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, did not Alan tell you that?
Not yet. He hasn't invited me to do that yet. But we've been kind of busy organizing our TED.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe there is a conflict of interest. That's the reason.
Oh, yeah, I had to step down from the leadership team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you need.
So we've been having, it's a lot of work, but it's also so rewarding. Once again, what I find in life is when you're helping others and you're giving back, what you receive is 100 times more than what you give. When you help somebody, if you met Ryan, I brought him here, Ryan's in a wheelchair.
Yes.
That was Ryan's challenge, because Ryan was, in addiction. And he ended up, because of his addiction, he ended up with a stroke. And that's how he ended up in that wheelchair. And he's lost his ability to speak. And when I met Ryan, he was totally lost. He was so depressed and he didn't know which way he was going to go. And if you see him today from where he was a year and a half ago, it's amazing the change in that young man. But we were able to, because of a lot of different things, people that I met in TED and in Toastmasters, were able to assist me to open a lot of doors to help Ryan, start working on himself. And then he himself getting clean and sober. I'm his sponsor. And when
you're the sponsor.
Yeah, so he's been clean and sober about 14 months now. And the change in that young man, and his mother comes up from California, and when she sees him, she just cries because she can't believe the change in him.
I'm so glad that there are people helping out each other. And then just to add on here, even at PIC Society, we help people with certain things. We annually we have drug and gang-free walk rally where we invite people to join us so that we can talk about it, spread awareness, and help the youth, especially at risk, come out of it. So we do have different programs for youth, people with disabilities, and anybody who is vulnerable to such things. And it's all free of cost programs. Anybody from, any gender, age, religion, anybody can walk in and take that help.
It's made a big difference. And I love PICS, because I looked at your organization.
I love
Yeah, I love PICS. That's it. Right up there. Yeah, but when I looked at your organization, before we even spoke about getting involved with TED, I look at organizations like this because you're doing exactly what I talk about. You're helping others. And when you do that, look at this organization, how it's grown. It didn't grow because somebody put a lot of money into it and just said, let's make this happen. It grows because what you're doing in the community, then the community just automatically gives back, whether it's people giving their own time. It doesn't always have to be money.
Exactly.
There's so much you can give without having to do money.
Money is a support for sure, but it's not, something that you can entirely rely on.
Exactly.
It has to be your genuine, or involvement in the community. And we have an example here today. So Ron, before we end this video, I want you to share a message with the audience about mental health. We always talk about mental health in our interviews. So how do you take care of your mental health?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because this morning when I woke up, I got up about 6:30, 6:45 this morning. And the first thing I do is after I get ready to go to the gym. So I'm 75 years old, but I still go to the gym 3 days a week and I work out. And before I do that, though, I spend about 20 to 25 minutes in meditation. And that's how I prepare myself for the day. Just because I have one of those busy brains that just keeps rolling all the time.
Yes.
And I have to get that squirrel cage, I call it, to stop running around in there. And the meditation in the morning just helps me, get in touch with my spiritual side on myself. And that helps me set up. And then I go to the gym, and that helps me get the physical thing of it, that part of it going. And then I sit down and have a nice, healthy breakfast.
Yeah.
And I have a shower and I shave and I come to visit nice people like you.
One more question. Is it a guided meditation, or it's just that, you sit in silo?
I use a guided meditation.
I'm just telling the viewers so that they can also use those tactics. So is it like a quick YouTube guided meditation?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
So
about 20 minutes.
So let's say you are feeling stressed. So you'll just write guided meditation for stress relief and you listen to it.
I listen to it.
Okay.
And I put the headset on and I just find it quiet.
You do it every day, no matter whether you're stressed or not.
I do.
Okay, that's something I really appreciate, because I also do guided meditation, but only on days when, I'm feeling like, now I'm done. I need some support. It has to be consistent.
Yeah, it does. It's like anything, you have to be somewhat detailed with what you're doing. You have to have a program. I call it a program. And I have to make myself do that. But after a while, it just comes natural.
Okay.
You get to the point where I want to do it.
Yeah.
It's not because I have to.
Yeah.
I want to do it. Because you just feel so good after.
Yeah. So Ron, it was really nice chatting with you, and I'm 100% sure that audience would have certain questions about, maybe more questions they want to ask you. So I would request them to comment below about their questions, and we can have you for a next video where you can answer their questions. For now, we'll
look forward to that.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming today, and thank you so much for inspiring people watching this.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.